Hey, my church, Pastor Jim here, and today we're talking about your money. Ready? Let's do it. Now, I should clarify. When I said talking about your money, it's not what Jim thinks about your money. It's not what some business guru who wrote a book thinks about your money or what somebody online who has a website thinks about your money. We're looking at what Jesus says about your money. And the interesting thing is, Jesus actually never wrote a book at all. But what Jesus' sayings and his advice and what he did was so important that people felt like it had to be written down, it had to be preserved, and it had to be shared. And so today we're looking at what Jesus says about your money. And if you're sitting there and you're like, well, I don't actually know what Jesus has to say about my money, then this story that we're going to look at today is really going to help. In the story, Jesus tells about a ruler who goes off to a country and is going to be gone for a while. And so before he leaves, he takes some of his servants and he gives them money with the expectation that they go and do something with it until he returns. And so the servants become managers of their master's money. Now, you'll read the whole story in small group today, but we're going to skip ahead a little bit because when the ruler comes back, he calls his servants together and he wants to know what they did with the money. And now, as we go into it today, this is where most of the time the Bible translations, whatever one you use, are pretty good, are all pretty much saying the same thing. But the Bible was written down in Greek, which was the common language in Jesus' day. And what's really helpful is Greek is actually pretty easy to translate. But there are some times in the Bible where the Greek words that they use were really hard to translate. And today's story, that's in one of the parts. And in fact, it's in a really important part. So let's go through it together. When he returned, having received the kingdom, he ordered these servants to whom he had given the money to be called to him, that he might know what they had gained by doing business. Now, our tendency might be, since we're talking about money, to focus on the word gained. But actually, as you read the story, you'll see that the emphasis is really on the phrase doing business. And that in the story, Jesus is actually teaching us that the master was more concerned about what activities and how they spent the money than how much money they actually gained. And so what does this mean for us? Well, here's the thing you need to know about group today. As you read this story, as you talk about and answer questions about money, you need to know that as far as God is concerned, he is more focused on what you do with the money you have and how you spend it instead of how much money you actually have. So what's really great about this is it doesn't matter if right now you have a lot of zeros in your bank account or you have no zeros in your bank account, that God has something to say, that Jesus has something to say about your money. And we're going to dive into that in just a few moments. But before you go, I need you to know, because my heart is right there with you, is that I love you. I'm so thankful that you are a partner in ministry with me at my church, where our goal together is to outshine the darkness in people's lives around us. So guys, let's have a great small group and let's get into it.